Welcome to Dicejunkies. I'm Zeno Davis. I'm here with
Q.
And on Skype,
we got Blood Axe.
All right, let's get started. First up, let's talk about Monopoly. Yeah, that got real good fake money. What?
Is this about the weird new hipster like Monopoly stuff?
So apparently Monopoly is scrapping outdated community cards to appeal to woke folk, which is this New York Post article's terms. Anyway, so basically what this boils down to, apparently Monopoly has said, all those community chest cards that everybody knows and, has been playing, we don't think that they're culturally valid anymore. So, to start off the episode, I thought that we could do something interesting, and that's
an annoy Q.
Yes, an annoy Q by let's try to see what some of the new options for community chest are. So they've actually set up a MonopolyCommunityChest.com where you can vote on the new cards. So let's see how painful this is. All right. So first one is you organize a family reunion, collect $200. Or
how do you collect money from organizing a family reunion?
I don't know. You help your neighbors clean up their yard after a big storm.
Collect $900. Holy shit! I'd help some.
That's $200, man. You're blind.
I'll help the neighborhood.
For $200, I'll still help you clean up your dang yard.
So you're saying clean up the yard for $200? That sounds good.
Yeah, hit it, vote it, clean the yard. I mean, we're in Mississippi, dude. That's the valid to us.
You volunteer to run the social media accounts for a nonprofit art center.
And you meet some pretty talented people. Collect $100. That's embezzling. It's a nonprofit. You're embezzling $100 from a nonprofit.
You set aside time every week to hang out with your elderly neighbor. You've heard some amazing stories.
You stole $100 from your elderly
apparently
neighbor?
You're selling off your neighbor's stories behind their back.
Well, I guess the old person, I'd rather do that than rob from a nonprofit.
Let's profit off of old people. You organize a bake sale for your local school. You collect $25.
Oh, wow, apparently that's a crap bake sale.
You're like
you're stealing. You're stealing from the bake sale.
You weed the community garden and discover a new bug. Name it something fun.
That sounds like the start of a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal from the bake sale. Let's steal from the bake sale.
If you read that, you weed the local community.
Yeah. Hey,
man, now you're paying.
I got something for you. Your fuzzy friends at the animal shelter will be thankful for your donation. Pay $50.
You pay $50 when you adopt an animal nowadays, so that's about right.
Your cousin forgot their wallet. You happily pay for dinner.
No, you don't.
No, you don't. I'd rather give $50 to the.
Screw that cheap bastard.
Not even a brother or anything. A cousin.
Wow, look at this. Meow. You knit cozy sweaters for the hairless cats at your local animal shelter, and apparently charge them $20. Or you help your neighbor bring in her groceries. She makes you lunch to say thanks. Collect $20. Oh, so you get okay.
I mean, if you take into account, you save $20 by not having to eat out.
Yeah, screw the hairless cats, man.
Yeah.
Again, I want a free lunch. Maybe some hot coffee.
Yeah. You organize your group to clean up your town's walking path. Collect $50.
Who's paying?
What are you? Are you finding people's wallets as you're cleaning up? Or maybe they're recycling. They're getting $50 worth of aluminum or something.
Or you charge the town, but didn't share with anyone else. You're like under the table again, like, hey, I got to clean up.
Look at the next one.
You volunteer your art skills and paint a mural at the local school. You making money for volunteering now?
Man, there's a lot of shady going on.
Do you steal from the kids or steal from the town in general?
Steal from the kids.
All right. Oops, I accidentally voted twice. Well, we don't really fucking care anyway. This is bad. I'm done. Okay. That was just
But
what
there was one where you volunteer as a homework helper and you still charged. Yeah, there's a lot of
like what happens to the old ones, you sold stock, things that make sense.
stock supports the patriarchy, I guess. I don't know.
Damn it, GameStop.
I can't make Hyde. Okay. The funny part is that I feel like this is unfair claim though, because that wasn't really woke. That was just lame.
Yeah, no, it's
like that was just actually just boringly lame. Like none of that was entertaining.
Well, it also doesn't really fit the setting of Monopoly.
I mean, the word monopoly is you're trying to form an illegal like dominance in the business world and you're trying to become the 1%. It's a game of villainy by default. Like that's what you're doing. You're trying to set up a monopoly. Why are they trying to do feel-good cards in a game where your goal is to drive all the other players into bankruptcy?
Yeah.
They do know you're playing the bad guy in Monopoly, right? Like, you are playing the bad guy.
I mean, they say with community being more important than ever before, this year is the perfect time to give fans across the country the chance to show what community means to them through voting on the new set of community cards. Since Monopoly became a household name from the 1980 from more than 85 years ago, the world has changed and embraced a new sense of community. Hopefully this is not a permanent. Hopefully this is like just some weird variant of Monopoly that they're like, community-oriented Monopoly or something. Because, I mean, there's so many different variants of Monopoly, but as far as the classic game, I hope they don't touch that.
And the reason you had to go to jail is because you're doing illegal business. You're a criminal. You are a villain.
But yeah, they said featured outdated prompts such as winning a beauty contest because we don't have beauty contests anymore.
We don't.
Well, apparently,
actually
receiving a tax refund. So apparently, we don't receive tax refunds anymore either.
I've always received tax refunds. I'm broke.
And rarely.
As a kid, this was my favorite game. I loved playing Monopoly. And I always thought that the cards did need updates, but some of them made no sense whatsoever, even to a 6-year-old trying to play a board game back in the 80s. So I agree with them with updating it. But some of the choices do still make me scratch my head why you would pick the things that you're actually allowing us to vote on.
I'm amazed you people read them. I was just like, I got $100.
Yeah, that's mostly what I did. I'll be honest.
Like, I don't know what all this is about. I was like, I didn't know that there was words on the card other than get money or lose money.
Monopoly was a visceral game in which you made enemies. Like the number of times, I don't know if we ever finished a Monopoly game when I was a kid. Somebody would flip the board. You'd find the banker was embezzling over there. Somebody is the guy controlling the property has been slyly adding to his portfolio. I mean, we played it right. I'm just saying.
I just remember that when somebody managed to get get the boardwalk set, like everybody got pissed off and didn't want to play because it was just like game over. Because once they started putting hotels over there, it was literally like, all right, this part of the board is now a death trap.
Yeah.
And people would just be furious.
If anybody lands on boardwalk, it's game over.
And if you got all of them, oh my God.
Yeah, because I would trade like 3 or 4 small properties just to get the blue ones or the green ones.
Yes.
And like, doing that, like, you'll see in a minute.
Oh, yeah. North Carolina, Pacific Avenue, all those. The green ones were deadly. That whole side of the board was just really
And then you just chill. You're like, you don't have any other properties. I don't need any because you have to go by here.
I remember hoping you'd land on go to jail just so you didn't have to go around the board.
The best thing is to get that and then sit in jail for a while safely and let people just give you their property.
And they're like, oh, you going to use that get out of jail free card you got over there? No, I'm going to roll for it, man.
Yeah, 3 rounds.
You want? I'll trade it to you for some property. Give me Pacific. I'll give you a jail free card.
I used to be dirty with it. I would actually instead of having to pay me the $500 whatever, just give me this piece of property over there. I would pick them apart just to be an asshole.
Oh no, that was actually a really good strategy for taking out because the thing was once somebody got pissed off, they'd try to sell everything they had to the other player. So if you picked them apart by going, oh no man, don't worry about it, I'll just take this property. You could get their property before they got too pissed off and then sold all their stuff to the other player to try to make you lose.
Well, that was also the good thing about having Boardwalk, because when they landed on it, they had to give it all to you anyway. Like, you literally just bankrupt them instantly.
Well, no, they can sell property while they're going bankrupt, so they're trying to collect the cash. So what they do is they'd sell off the property to other players to try to build.
We had a house rule that if you couldn't get the cash, you couldn't do that. Like, you had to be able to get the cash. You couldn't just give away your property and then give nothing to the person you landed on. We were assholes,
so we couldn't make too many rules to stop us from being assholes. Because then it wasn't fun anymore.
Because you owe the guy you landed on, so you used to lose your property in our game. If you landed on my property, you had to give me all your property unless you could get the money. And usually it was enough that other people couldn't come up with enough money.
I think board games in my house were just very, very, very violent anyway, because we couldn't even get through Scrabble without the board being flipped, I think.
Man, Uno games were aggressive when I was playing. Man, like, everything was mean.
Yeah. All right, so Monopoly's being weird. That's a thing. Let's talk about Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk has come up and announced that basically what all's being fixed with their 1.2 patch with police response, driving, stuff like that. They actually did a really interesting, very RP type post on it. So, because they did their normal yellow, but their official blog, as you can see, they actually did like a news reporter type thing and released the whole thing and tried to make the changes fit in with the setting. So
one thing I did like about the news updates, though, is as you progress through the story and did certain things, how the news would actually talk about what you did. That was interesting, though. I did enjoy that with the game.
But yeah, it's like the driving change. They're like, soon the mandatory update will allow for better synchronization between the Crystal Dome system and the vehicle, resulting in a more fluid driving experience, even when the image signal skips a frame or two. In addition, drivers should also expect to be able to better personalize their driving experience by adjusting the sensitivity limits to a level they are comfortable with, providing a much-needed and breather for insurance companies.
Get the people out of the road. Let's start with that.
Yes, more dedication and not getting ran over for pedestrians would be excellent.
Will this be a good change, or will it subject morgues, street sweepers, and auto repair shops to economic hardship? Here's an opinion from an expert. So I like the way they were released. I would have preferred that at the end of this they just gave a quick summary and said, "All right, this is what we're changing," instead of me having to read the whole thing. But it was fun. Looking forward to the 1.2 patch. This is not the final patch that fixes the last of everything. They're still going to need a couple more patches before I think the game is truly in its prime playable state. But it is definitely another step in the right direction to improving the massive dump that they dropped on us back in December.
I mean, they still need a little more before I'm going to go complete the game. This is nice, but I'm going to wait for probably that 2.0 patch before I jump in and get back in Cyberpunk. Like, I want a little more. This is nice, but they can do better. Like, keep it coming. That's the best way to put it. Keep at it. Keep it coming. Lock your servers down.
I'm not sure if I'm going to replay it because it was a long-ass game.
That's literally why I didn't play through it yet, and I've been waiting on the patches because I figured it's going to probably be 1 or 2 and done. Maybe a couple of the backstories, but I'm not going to do like 3 or 4 playthroughs.
Oh, I mean...
The only way I would do it is if they change the romance options to where you can actually romance who you want, regardless of your orientation, or which which V that you chose to play as. But also just to get that secret Johnny Silverhand, let's go balls to the wall by ourselves option, which apparently I had to make the right choices to get that one to go.
Yeah, well, so it's the one fallback of playing on console versus PC. On PC, you can just mod that stuff in, and you don't have to worry. Like PC, we've been able to get around a lot of these patches for a while. The patches are greatly needed for console, and obviously giving some more options for consoles. Maybe Xbox will implement mods for Xbox. I mean, they did it on, I think, Skyrim, so it would be cool to see mods coming more and more to these console games.
I haven't been amazed with the mods on offer for Cyberpunk either. I keep checking about every couple of weeks, and not actually wowed. They're not on the same level as like Fallout and Skyrim. I'm hoping that they'll crank it up a bit.
No, they definitely don't have the level of modability that Skyrim has, or the Bethesda tends to deliver for their single player games.
I was surprised, but I mean, maybe now that the source code's out there, maybe they'll have the ability to really break it down. Who knows?
Not for console, though, I don't think. But
no, consoles. Screw you, console people. Yeah.
Oh,
for the most part, yeah.
I mean, I got both, man. You know, you could be in both worlds. You don't have to be exclusive.
I don't have a place for a PC.
yeah.
I'm on a MacBook to give you an idea of what I'm actually broadcasting from right now. So no.
All right, so let's see what else we got. We want to talk about RPG publisher Legendary Games apologizes for racist Pathfinder and DVD 5e supplement.
D&D. DVD something completely different.
I said D&D.
What's racist now?
Everything.
So they did the Asian Spell Compendium, which is basically Asian-inspired magical spells. Now, a lot of the reason why I think this got as much slack as it did is currently, if you keep up with the news, we've had a lot of Asian particular victims of crime, and so a lot of people grabbed this and ran because it came out right as that was at its height. But I mean, this has been something that's been going on, I know, for decades. I mean, we've had the Asian inspired.
I mean, we have Asian, we have Norse, we have all of the mythologies and different cultures. It's a thing. So I guess you're just like, I don't know how erasing something is helping it. Like, if you can't reference anything Asian in any way, aren't you just erasing that? Is that really... Like, I don't think inclusive is understood by the people that are trying to defend this stuff, because their inclusiveness seems to be very exclusive. I just noticed that. It seems to be a very exclusive mentality. Asian mythology and Asian-style fantasy is very popular. It's done in anime and games all the time. And if you're not allowed to do it anymore, you're segregating their culture out of the whole genre, which, is that a good?
Yeah, I mean it is a bit on the weird side. I think that this hit as hard as it did. I mean, I understand that they're definitely, and I mean I haven't seen the book. Maybe they went very stereotypy or something. I doubt it.
I mean, I don't know how you don't if it's an Asian themed book, it's probably going to have Asian themes in it.
But if you're referencing that culture in a compendium, you're going to be racist because you're giving the player what comes from that region or that culture. That's not racist. That's just what it is. But everyone is so hypersensitive now that you could have anything from any kind of culture or region and you'd be considered racist because you're singling them out. It should actually be the opposite. You should actually be proud that, hey, they got my culture right, or they got my mythology correct. Now, if they screwed that up, then I can see where you'd be offended. But this is ridiculous.
Yeah, this is something crazy in there. It's going to be it's going to be stereotypical. It's Asian
fantasy.
Themed. It's got to be stereotypical.
It's also fantasy. So it's there's a lot of fantasy themed stuff. Now it also says in addition to pulling the Asian spell compendium, they also Legendary Games has removed the Far East Adventures line of supplements from its online store until the team can decide how it wants to address its future.
Oh, apparently they didn't have enough Asian authors. I just saw like a part of it. They talked about they didn't have Asian authors.
They said it has inherently tone deaf cultural issues.
You mean like medieval Asia?
Says the show's examples such as the marvelous chopsticks, the punji pit, and reign of the sacred lotus petals.
Those all sound awesome.
And this is all for a game version we won't even play.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hilarious is that if I go
we
to
can't
an
play
Asian,
it because it's no longer out there. I've played Asian themed D&D and Pathfinder campaigns before. I've actually quite enjoyed them. I mean, Pathfinder has a whole Asian inspired area
TN,
of the system. Yeah, the TN. So I think D&D has at one point had an Asian inspired area.
Dude, I love Asian themes, and I go to them for the tropes and the stereotypes. That's the point. Like, that's what I like about it. I like samurai and ninja.
Well, I mean, the thing
like
is,
monks
me and you,
Shaolin, and
we read Asian,
we
translated novels from Asian countries. Especially the Chinese cultivation, the Japanese light novels, and isekai.
Mangas.
Koreans have like the hunters and the manhwas. Yeah, but hunters is their big fantasy type.
Oh yeah.
Character.
So I mean, we read all this stuff, and the tropes are tropes because they're tropes.
Yeah.
Like you're in it for the tropes. But if the tropes can't be in there, then it isn't Asian themed anymore. Like if I was going into something Asian themed, I expect to see lotus, I expect to see cherry blossom, I expect to see chopsticks, I expect to see the rain hats, I expect to see that. If I don't see that, I'm gonna be like, there's no Asian in this Asian theme book. At which point I'd feel like I was cheated.
Now I will say maybe they could have pulled back and said, hey, with the whole Asian crime thing happening right now, maybe we shouldn't release it. But I don't know. Release dates are planned so far ahead of time. They probably didn't realize that right as they released this, the news was going to blow up on all these different things. Because this was released before the shooting.
Yeah, but like idiots, they acknowledged it, so now everybody thinks it's racist because they acknowledged it. They should have just said, "Yeah, this is for a game. Shut up." Because I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, let's be fair. I'm black, and I occasionally like to play a Zulu warrior style character. And if I go to do that, I'm expecting I'm gonna have a spear. Short spear, if you want to be historically accurate. Mm-hmm. Shield. I'm going to be living in the tribe. I'm going to have the necklace. Like, if I'm going to play a Zulu warrior, I want to look like a Zulu warrior. That's not a negative archetype. It's what you play a Zulu warrior to be. I'm going to go full fucking tribal with it. Boom. If I decide I'm going to play a gangster in a modern game, and I decide, yeah, man, I'm a member of a gang. Yeah, I'm going to do it up, man. I'm going to have the gear. I'm going to have a pistol. It's like, these are what you're playing that character. That's a part of that archetype. It is the stereotype. But you are often playing the stereotype. Now, if you want to play the stereotype defined, that's an individual choice. Well, but if I buy a book on Asian culture or Asian supplement for my game, it better have chopsticks and cherry blossoms in it.
Well, the other thing is these usually just add the elements into the game.
What you use.
They're not inherently usually racist or stereotypes. They're just, here's a bunch of elements that come from this culture. Now you can use them that way, but that comes down on the player, not the publisher, and that's done inside somebody's home, and we usually don't have to deal with it. We know that there's racist people out there. We know that there's some crap people out there, but. What? Just can you no longer make something because it may be used by somebody who is using it negative? I don't know. There's no good solution.
how would you do an Asian themed compendium without having Asian components?
Well, yeah, yeah.
God, trying to hunt down a bunch of Asian authors it goes into also, once again, not being inclusive. If you decide only Asian people can write Asian compendiums, only black people can write African compendiums, only white people can write, oh my God, if that's the case, then it's still going to lose out because, let's be honest, man, a lot of the culture of the world's white. Like, there ain't a lot of other stuff. Like, we're not going to win out if we do this, actually, because I don't want to only be allowed to. Yeah, that's dumb. They don't know what they're doing. Now that I think about it, that sounds stupid. It actually sounds stupid. I mean, it doesn't matter. It isn't a bad idea to have a consultant, but I'm going to tell you, man, there are people who are really big. For example, I probably know more about cultivation than quite a few Asians because I'm a huge fan of it, and I've delved into it in a massive degree. There are obviously some that know more than me, but I really believe that I could walk up to the street in a lot of places and start talking about it, and they're going to look at me and be like, what the F is he talking about?
Because it's just like,
it's an interest.
D&D, let's say D&D is a more Americanized game. Now, not everybody on the streets in America know anything about D&D, or our fantasy, our dragons. We have the Western dragons, that we tend to use in fantasy, where it's not the same as Eastern dragons.
Oh, very different.
Very different. So
they have more in common with fish.
Each area, has different fantasy elements, different, but not everybody's into fantasy. So not all Asian people know Asian fantasy. Not all Western people know Western fantasy.
Like the presumption that Asian people know more about Shinto isn't exactly accurate. And also, there's not a lot of crossover between Asian historians and Asian D&D players all the time. So the assumption that they're going to do it better is dumb. That's basically a stereotype itself. Well, if you want to know about Kung Fu, you need to go to an Asian. That is really stereotypical.
Oh, now that...
you want to know about... So if you want to know about chopsticks, you got to go to Asian. It's also racist. I mean, it is. I mean, the assumption that you need Asian authors to do this is... really, insulting all the people who have specialized in history or have went to college for this. It doesn't matter if you're a doctorate in Eastern culture, you're white. So you don't know as much as Billy Bob, the bank clerk, because Billy Bob Wong is apparently going to know more than you. Yeah. Why? I don't know why. They're fucking idiots. They just assume people know better by their race. They apparently believe your race comes with downloaded knowledge automatically based on your race. God dang it, man.
Well, I mean, dude, let's just be honest. Like, I mean, I had a buddy of mine who he was of Indian descent, and so he'd get asked questions all the time, and he was like, "Man, I'm from New York," because he was born here in New York. He has no ties to
I've never
India.
been to Africa, man.
Yeah, so. That's what it
what I know is from
like
research,
if you go up to my buddy and you go, well, hey, man, we want to hire you to help us write this thing that has Indian culture. He'd be like, I don't know anything about Indian culture, man. I'm a New Yorker.
Something about elephants?
Like,
you know what I'm saying? He's just like, I don't know something.
Yeah, we were having a potluck, and one of the my Cuban classmates looked over to one of my Korean classmates and go, I bet you make good fried rice.
According to these people, he's not only makes good fried rice, he's the only person who should be allowed to make fried rice. It's racist if someone else makes fried rice.
Oh.
Dumbasses.
But actually, we had someone else who was white make fried rice for the potluck.
Racist?
Yeah, it was like a drive-by hate crime in class.
We had this conversation Friday where apparently you're not allowed to make tacos if you're not Mexican. And I was just like, but I love tacos.
Oh, man.
I
make a badass quesadilla. I'm just going to say, man.
I'll test you on that. I make a good one, too. I make a killer breakfast quesadilla.
Look at these two races here, appropriating Mexican culture.
I know, right?
Because the Mexicans are defensive about their quesadillas. How dare you? They probably like, we don't give a... it's a tortilla with cheese, man.
Yeah. I was going to say, my quesadilla probably is not anything you would get in Mexico. All right, let's do a random account.
It's not that considered that important of a Mexican dish. They have more important cuisine than that.
Yeah. All right, who wants to roll? I'll roll.
And
Fine.
basically, they're cheese toast. You know that, right? It's like it's not high on their priority. It's like they're bragging about quesadillas, man. Little
All
children.
right, I rolled a 2.
Ooh.
I just
Heroes
talked
and
about Snake Eyes.
icons. Favorite G.I. Joe and Cobra character.
Go, whatever your name is, Zeno.
I mean, I was a Snake Eyes fan growing up.
Racist.
I know.
I think people were.
Yeah.
Actually, I liked refrigerator Cole. Refrigerator Perry. What the heck? Dang it. The fridge. I liked the fridge and Sergeant Slaughter. Both of those characters were awesome.
Like when it came to the toys, I owned like my main toys that I played with as a kid for G.I. Joe was Snake Eyes and Cobra Commander. So,
I had Fridge and Sergeant Slaughter, and then on the other side, Destro. And oddly enough, like Blood Axe won't be surprised at all. The Cobra robot ones, those guys were awesome. I had all the interchangeable arms.
Actually, mine were different than y'all's. That's interesting. I had Gung Ho and Zartan. I loved Zartan.
Zartan with the skin change was fun. I had him too, but I loved the robots, and Sergeant Slaughter was way better as a G.I. Joe than he was as a wrestler. He actually was hilarious.
And that's why I didn't care for him too much, is because of the wrestling heel character that he played. But I loved Gung Ho just because he had the open chest with the tattoo. So yeah, that was my set.
You're not allowed to play with Gung Ho. You can only play with white characters.
Oh, that's why I played with Snake Eyes.
Not for now. But you are perpetuating a patriarchy of dumb bullshit, wokety woke nonsense.
Pretty soon, Snake Eyes won't be white, and you can't play with him anymore. So
yeah, you're not allowed to. Only Asian children are allowed to play with Snake Eyes.
Anyway, wow, man, this episode is just going down the gutter.
No, the world is going down the gutter. We're merely talking about it.
It gets worse.
Oh yeah, it gets worse.
It gets worse
because now we're going to another franchise.
Which one we want to do? We want to
that one.
Do it. All right, fine. Let's talk about Johnny Cage and Mortal Kombat.
Or, I mean, the absence of Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat.
The absence. So, apparently they said there is a reason why we didn't see it. You remember when we watched the Mortal Kombat trailer and we were like, and people were coming up with random people that don't even exist in the Mortal Kombat world and saying they weren't in the trailer and wondered why. While we were going,
we were the ones that mentioned
where's Johnny Cage? Well, that's because Johnny Cage is not in there and won't be.
In the first one, because he would distract from the narrative, because this is a kung fu movie. So having a white guy would be a problem.
So apparently there have been 2 points that have been brought out on Johnny Cage. One point that was brought out was apparently the author was like, I didn't really want a white person taken away from the show, the movie on the first one. The other one was he went through this long explanation of how Johnny Cage was a big personality and that he was hoping for a sequel in which he could do Johnny Cage right, which doesn't really match the other sentiment. So it's really a weird...
One's obviously to follow, but no, is this. But even the way he describes Johnny Cage is he's this big character. He's very like, the kind of thing that sells movies and sells toys and merchandise. And then worst of all, someone during this, it was brought up that Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage, which really threw me for a loop because that's a great idea. And you're telling me you did not bank on that? This movie, Ryan Reynolds is gold right now. Like, he is cinematic gold. He has a strong fan base, and Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage would have moved this to the top of a lot of people's list just on that alone. There are people that would see this that aren't Mortal Kombat fans but are Ryan Reynolds fans.
So the quote that Cinema Blend put up was at a conference, a press conference about the movie. They did. Johnny Cage is obviously the elephant in the room, and there's a number of reasons why Johnny Cage was problematic.
You know that word, don't you?
in this particular movie out of the gate. One, he's a very big personality, right? So he needs his own space. It's very hard to just throw him in a movie, like I said, with Kano. So taking him out was very easy, not only for the movie, but for the sequel. I want to make a sequel, and I've now got Johnny Cage, which hasn't been used in the first one. So I have a big stick and carrot that maybe they'll let me have a Johnny Cage real presence in the second one.
I go down.
So this one did not do your quote. I couldn't find the one.
Yeah, there's a part where he talked about there's another article, like I pulled him another one where they had the rest of it where he talks about like he basically goes in a whole having a white male character lead.
When you originally sent me the thing, I was like, man, that's not what I'm reading. Like,
that's because you didn't read the whole thing. But like it was interesting that he does approach the subject of he didn't want a white male lead. Which I found interesting because, I mean, to me, this is an ensemble piece, so it's not a white male lead. It's like, you've got like friggin' 5-6 characters. Why would Johnny Cage be the lead?
Johnny Cage wasn't the lead in the very first film.
No.
It was Liu Kang. And you're creating a whole new character to be the lead. Why would Johnny Cage take over the spotlight? Just because he's white? That makes no sense.
And in a movie where you've got like a big black guy with metal arms, a white female commando, a Aussie, a fired undead ninja, an ice ninja, a big four-armed monster, a god of thunder, a rather, if you want to be technical, stereotypical Asian kung fu guy, Bruce Lee knockoff.
Yeah, this article does say Garner went on to explain that it felt weird for him to put Johnny in the first movie as he was trying to do something more diverse.
I think there's more below that.
Well, then they mentioned the whole, he said it's a cop-out to all of a sudden have Ryan Reynolds, not him, but as the lead felt a little disadvantageous to me and super easy to bring him in a big, bumtastic, fun way in the second.
So basically, I think that Johnny got pushed out because white males aren't allowed in movies right now, unless they're villains like Kano. But you can't be a white male hero these days anymore, so, yeah.
I don't know. It's really weird not to have one of the 7 main characters. No matter how you spin it, look at it, you know.
Especially
when
that you have every other character.
Yeah, when you look at the original 7, doing a movie without one of the original 7 just seems weird.
But you're creating a brand new character that didn't exist before.
Yeah, it's not even like you just didn't do it at all. Like, no, you basically replaced Johnny Cage with Cole Young because the one I saw, he even mentions, well, you know, Cole Young's half Asian, so like he's really keeps tossing out the actor. So he's playing that card, man. This is just I decided to try the diversity card. And it's a shame because the movie looks good, but now that I know the mindset behind it, I have low hopes. Because I've just not seen anybody go in with woke goals and make a good movie. When people go in to make a good movie, they do fine. When they go in with woke goals, they tend to lose the farm.
Sounds like doing Harry Potter, but said we can't have Ron Weasley because he's a redheaded white kid. You know?
I mean, they make freaking Liu Kang go, what the like, I mean, it's like, you really, dude? It's like, you're not picking the right franchise if you're trying not to be kind of racist.
Here's one of the quotes that he said. I felt like if I was getting to make a movie with a diverse cast, it felt weird to have a white actor, literally Johnny Cage, be the hero of the story.
Gardner says, so that's a quote.
Yeah. It's definitely.
I mean, he threw out he didn't want to have a white male as his lead. I wasn't making that up. Like he didn't mind a villain like Kano, but he did not want a white male hero in his movie. I mean, just plain and simple.
I mean,
does that make it or break it for you? I don't know. I mean, I'll probably watch the movie at some point, but not for money. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I'll probably
My
pirate
thing
it.
is you didn't have to
now, I'm not gonna pay.
There's multiple tellings of the Mortal Kombat story. I mean, you could have just not had him be the main character. You could have still had him.
He could have still had Cole Young as his main character and just added Johnny Cage as a martial artist.
Yeah.
But to actually exclude him is not diversity and inclusive. You excluded him because he's a white male and he's not a villain. That's fucked up. Yeah. That is. That's not cool, man. That's racist. That's just straight up
I'll let
racist.
you watch it, and you tell me how it is.
I'm not gonna watch. I'm not paying for it. Like, screw it, man. Like, you can't have my money if you're racist. I don't believe racism goes on way. When I was at my folks' place earlier today, I loved that my folks said the same thing. A big debate was talking about something that was said on a show we were watching, and they said that racism is racism.
Yeah.
They said it doesn't matter who it's to, we're against it. These are the people that raised me. I hold these same principles. Racism is racism. If you're being racist to white people, you're still being racist. Period.
Hate is hate.
Don't you think little white boys need positive role models these days? I think they're really going the wrong direction. I'm like, we need more white heroes because who they're looking up to right now, I'm not too happy with. I'd rather they were looking up to some heroic white people. So I'm like, I think you guys are going the wrong direction with we're only going to show white villains. That's not sounding like the right idea. We're only going to show the patriarchy and white men in power abusing their power. What You know you're making a generation of little evil psychos because that's what you're portraying them as to them. Whatever happened to truth, justice, and the American way? Why do they think showing nothing but negative white male characters is a good idea when there are more white males than anyone else? Like, there's more white males than brown, green, blue, and polka dot, and you are showing them only villains. I do not think you're thinking this through on the long term. That's it. I'm done. That's my rant. I'm done. Just saying.
So let's talk about Batwoman.
Now, fuck up. Damn, we're back to racist again. Now, you want to see white people get it bad. Woo!
Oh, Batwoman.
You don't watch it. I forgot.
No, I haven't. And that's what I do. If I don't feel like something's for me, I'm just not going to pay attention to it. I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah, so I have to. I have to keep making it the difference.
Yeah, well, you
watch videos, people talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I watch a little more than that, but, we're not supposed to promote illegal acquisition of shows. So let's just assume I watch YouTube videos.
You do, yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, Batman reportedly canceled after season 3. So at least, they're getting another season before that. Of course, they signed up for 2 seasons, I think, before the first season was done. And then,
they immediately went, we're going to get 2 more.
And then they lost their main actress. But yeah, so they're doing the final season. Now, this is rumored, obviously.
That's an older picture, too. Like, she's got a different hair. That's not just saying that picture you pulled up.
Yeah. But
I do like the hair. They did improve the hair a good bit because that was an ugly ass wig.
But yeah, so one more season, and then apparently it's not getting renewed. Thus says the rumors. I know a lot of people have been asking why this hasn't been canceled already. So
should have been canceled in season 1 when they lost the actual actress. By the way, you want to know what the current season has been about? Where's Kate Kane? Yes, they're just still harping on where's Batwoman?
Kate Kane.
And then the current Batwoman just goes, you don't support me like you do Kate Kane because I'm black. Like, to the black guy. And he's just looking at her like,
really?
You're playing a race card so often, you're not even paying attention to who you're playing it to. Also, they keep playing her out like she wasn't a criminal, except that her girlfriend's like a drug dealer. She knows assassins and murderers. I'm like, I think you were a criminal. I think you were not falsely accused. You were deep into criminal in your life.
Wasn't she selling drugs, too?
They tried to kind of change that, but, I mean, her girlfriend was selling drugs. Though, of course, because a woman can never be bad, she's selling it to the people that deserve to have their lives ruined. I'm not joking. That's a real thing. She's selling it to the rich white men, though it's okay for her to sell drugs to them.
To beat their women, yeah, exactly.
All right, so
this is what I've been suffering through. Yeah, for you, for the show, for all of you out there. I'm gonna steal it. Like, don't sue me, but I watch it, so you don't have to. Well, I steal it. I mean, I watch videos about it, so you don't have to.
We watched Falcon and Winter Soldier. It was worth watching.
It's a good start, I guess. I mean, they put a lot of irons in the fire. Let's see what happens.
Good special effects.
Mm-hmm.
It's less racist than Batwoman. I mean, he's telling a story.
I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward for more. Me and Q did a review on it where we talk a little more on what we felt about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm looking forward to the second episode. I can honestly, I'll say that much here. I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I consider that a good show if I'm looking forward to the next episode. Did I have things that I didn't like? Did I nitpick on it a bit when we did the review? Yes, I did. But overall, I enjoyed it enough to want to watch another
episode. The
episode.
acting's better than WandaVision so far. Like, I liked WandaVision a lot for the story, but the acting on WandaVision was a little coarse. This has been really good acting. Go ahead, Bud.
There are two things that kind of stick out to me. One is that the whole small world element, I think, was a little overboard. And number two, I really enjoyed the flash mob scene. That one was pretty cool.
That was okay. An interesting idea. Unfortunately, I feel like I hope nobody picks up on that because that was unfortunately a disturbingly good idea. I was like, oh boy.
It's been done before. It's not a new idea, man.
But I hate the Falcon sister.
The whole heist with the flash mob mask is
pretty cool. Yeah, it's not a new concept. Yeah. There's a whole music video I recently saw with it. It's been done. My only thing is I'm kind of worried that they're going to roll out too many superpowered people, like a little heavy-handed, it felt like. I'm worried that we're going to end up with like 8-9 new supers by the end of it.
Well, if they help introduce the
Power Broker,
the X-Men and the mutants, then they'll do a lot more superpowered people. So.
I want my X-Men.
See, but you just said you didn't want them to introduce too many superpowered people, but now
that aren't X-Men. That aren't mutants, man. I love mutants, man. Oh God, I want an X-Men universe before I die or kill everyone.
I want a good one, yeah.
While we're on, we were talking about Batwoman. I jumped ship back to Marvel, but let's get back to Warner Brothers and talk about DC with some Zack Snyder news. Apparently, the Snyder Cut came out. I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's on my list of things I want to watch. Plan on watching. But
I got the luck it'll be my first time seeing the movie altogether, so I didn't even have to sit through the crappy one.
I watched the crappy one, or a couple of weeks ago, just before the Snyder Cut came out, because I was painfully not wanting. I didn't want to watch it because I heard so many bad things. I did watch it. I will say I've been pleasantly surprised with the DC movies because I've come into everyone after listening to just people blasting it. So I come in with such a negative view when I watch the DC movies that they're not that bad. I
mean, if somebody tells you this tastes like crap and you taste it and go like, it's bland, but it's not terrible.
Yeah. So I've actually enjoyed it a bit because I thought it was going to be. Hey, look, it's not all of them. Trust me. I came in trying to watch Birds of Prey with the worst negative thoughts possible, and I couldn't get 5 minutes into that before I turned it off.
I can't believe these racist bastards made Black Canary black, and they tell like, what the heck, man? Just because your name has black in it doesn't mean you have to be black.
So as far as levels of Warner Brothers DC movies, they could have been a lot worse. I watched part of Birds of Prey. They could have been a lot worse, man.
Wonder Woman 84.
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm waiting to get a little more negativity built up in me before I watch Wonder Woman 84.
It's got Chitara in
I
it.
might end up having to pull a Birds of Prey on that one and not finish it. It sounds so bad, but I'm gonna try. It's on my list as well, but. I have heard a lot of good things about the Snyder Cut. Now, I've heard some negative reviews as well, which I'm trying to keep deep in my heart so that I don't come in too excited about the Snyder
The negative reviews I've heard are just that the parts that sucked in the original are still there, but the additional content is supposedly pretty good.
That now I also have a negative view on Snyder after his.
But I'm gonna separate it. I've heard nothing but good things about Snyder Cut, and I'm looking forward to. Well, I don't want to support it though. That's the problem. But I know I just said I want to separate it because I actually was looking forward to seeing it. But Zack Snyder kind of pulled a bitch ass move.
Yeah. So Zack Snyder offended the geeks and gamers community, and wow, man, I will say I've never really watched a lot of geeks and gamers. Like I've utilized their articles before to find news, but I mean, the amount of hate that is suddenly drawn up in the media against geeks and gamers, they're labeling them alt-right and
it's
racist.
Almost like some really big person in Hollywood did a lot of association with them as a hate group and alt-right.
So that's been really weird.
Let me speak on this just because I used to watch a lot of geeks and gamers. Yeah, actually, you didn't watch as much as me.
Yeah.
I actually watched them a lot for a while because back during the time of like some Funimation issues that were happening, I'm not going to go into great detail. Y'all can check it out. We talked about it back then with certain voice actors and Funimation, with Johnny Depp and some other things, and other things. Star Wars, a lot of the comic stuff. I enjoyed some of their videos, but I can honestly say, as a person who can be pretty fair about this, I stopped watching them because Jeremy said some messed up stuff, man. Like Jeremy does. Like, he can get out there and say some stuff, and he said a few things that I kind of pulled back. I still stepped in every now and then, but I stopped following him like I used to because, yeah, he's a bit controversial. But the man's efforts toward charity and to help other YouTubers, like I just said, I pulled back. But who knows? One day Jeremy may put us on the map. He's done that for people. He's went out and actually spotlighted people's channels. So as a person, he's not a bad guy. Some of his views I don't agree with, but he's got a good channel. He has a diverse cast.
Well, that's what I was about to bring up, is also Jeremy is only one person of the Geeks and Gamers group. Like, from what I understand, he hires quite varying opinions to be part. And that, honestly, that's what I've asked from. I would love to see most media companies do, is have varying opinions, because a lot are focusing on diversity of color and race, which is a bit racist anyway. But I like to see a diversity of opinions, a diversity of ideas. People who grew up differently, think differently, because then you're going to get not only a better, I guess, outlook on things, because you have people looking at it from different ways, but you also have some checks and balances going on, because
that's important.
Because you have somebody go, that's more opinion than it is.
And people do that to him. I mean, he keeps them around for that. Now, the reason I say this is because, like you said, the channel is more than one voice. The channel does a lot of charity. And the reason I have a problem with Zack Snyder is that even if Warner Brothers did make him do it, and there's a lot of insinuation that it did. Yeah, pop that up. I mean, he's got a wonderful cast of people there. This is a charity. And I'm going to tell you something. Man, you've heard me call my age out. I'm a grown-ass man. You're a grown-ass man. If I'm coming on to do a charity for suicide awareness, I'm just going to do I'm there for that. I'm not there to try to raise a flag. I'm not going to say fuck Epic on a charity, goddamn. You know what I'm saying? I'll go with Epic. If Epic called up and said, yeah, you talk a lot of crap, but we want to do a charity thing, I'll come on there and I'll play nice, because the goal is to help people. And the inability for Zach to drop his balls and man up and go, look, I'm not going to support or decline or deny anybody. I'm just going to go do the dang charity podcast. It disgusted me.
Well, even the person...
It disgusted me
that
he could not come there for the good agenda and focus on it. You's a grown-ass man, and you claim your daughter... Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. You should care about the issue. Let's just say that. That really got me. You should care about this issue, man.
Yeah.
And you still put your politics first, and then you went after the people that are organizing the charity.
Now,
that means that you don't stand for what you say you stand for.
The person who was controversial even stepped out of the...
Yes, he sat out the chat. He sat out it. So Jeremy wasn't there. Which, honestly, I get it. Like I said, Jeremy pisses people off. He was man enough to step back, but you couldn't?
But it was sort of a... Now, they did come back and say that Zach was pressured by Warner Brothers to possibly do this.
But what could Warner really do to him with the Snyder Cut about to come out? Man, he had to pull. I mean, I don't think they were going to go, Snyder Cut, we're going to cancel at the last minute because you didn't badmouth a YouTube channel on a dang charity chat. Really? I mean, don't get me wrong. By the way, now it's time. We're updating the Q fuck you list, and we're now adding Warner Brothers to it. So it's now Epic, Sony, Warner Brothers. Tencent's always been on there. And guess what? Shocker, Sony, you're not number 2 anymore, baby. You got knocked down. I'm putting Warner at position number 2 for a company on the FU list. Only Epic trumps Warner. And if they keep this crap up, Warner will. The only reason Epic's above them is because Warner's punk ass got out of business anyway. You broke motherfuckers. You about to go out of business anyway. I know about your problems. Epic ain't going out of business. They're winning. Like, well, sadly, I think Epic is making all the money.
Epic gets number 1 also because it is combined with Tencent.
Yeah, and Sony. Like, they're the trifecta of evil. The new axis of evil is Epic, Sony, and Tencent. Yeah, I went there. I don't care. Where'd they go? You can't cancel me. I don't have nothing. I ain't Gina Carano. I got nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? But Warner's, because when you mentioned the other stuff, you brought it up. Y'all, let me let y'all speak, because they brought up a lot of other stuff I forgot Warner had did. Like, Warner's got a lot of strikes on their list.
Well, I mean, we were just talking about Batwoman, so.
Yeah. I mean, Batwoman. People screwing on the set. Yeah. Joss Whedon.
Well, I mean, they all the whole Joss Whedon thing.
Wonder Woman 84.
They've also recently, pissed off a bunch of their actors because of the direct HBO stuff.
They're screwing over movie theaters.
Of course, DC in general.
No, I mean, they're just a crap show.
And it's been a mess over there for a while, it seems like.
You know who I wouldn't take advice from now that I think about it? Zach, baby. Zach, you work with more than one company. Why would you damage your reputation for that shit show? They don't know what they're doing. They suck. I just realized that you're taking advice from somebody that doesn't know how to make anything good.
You're taking advice from somebody that's on Q's shit list.
Let's not pretend my list matters. You're taking advice from somebody that had Wonder Woman rape a dude. How about that?
Oh, right.
But Jeremy's the asshole. Yeah. Oh, that Jeremy with his spicy political takes.
And on that note, I think that's going to wrap up the show.
You know who didn't wrap up? Patterson on the set of Batman.
Yeah.
But Jeremy's the bad guy.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, all that good stuff. You can catch this show live on Twitch every Sunday at 3:30-ish. Where you can jump in the chat room and yell whatever you want. Unless Blood Axe bans you, because you yell
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it?
Okay.
You're floundering, man.
What?
I just want to screw with you. Samuel Jackson makes me happy.
Thought I was. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out Dicejunkies.com, where you can find out links to everywhere we are online. And be sure to like, subscribe, check the notification bell on YouTube there. And thanks for watching. As always,
we hope you enjoy.
They fucked my tomatoes up.